up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? Thank you guys for choosing to kick off this Victory Tuesday. And a welcome back, kind of again, for Flannel Sam. It's Wake Up Woodward. Chat family, as always, you all are the most important part of the WUW Crew production. So let's go on ahead and run up those lights, all ready to kick off this day. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, all sports knower, man. Go Blue lover, Red Wings correspondent. What up, though, brother?
You know, call me Sam Mazaway for this one or Flannel Maz, but there was nothing better this morning than a hot cup of coffee and Major League Baseball. If you guys don't know, the Cubs and Dodgers, I saw Dante151 mention it in the chat. They are playing a 2-game series in Japan to start the Major League Baseball season, and I got an absolute kick out of it. It was a big baseball fan, and just something about morning baseball just hits right.
Hey, you know what? I miss my days playing baseball, man, in high school. I'm so glad that all my friends were like, bro, just play baseball. I'm like, I cannot hit a baseball. Y'all trying to have me embarrass myself, but the camaraderie, playing in a different sport, the challenge. And honestly, morning spring ball was so dope. So I get you, man. I get you. But those Pistons got that get right, boy. They got that get back. And obviously, it's the Pelicans. So there's only so much that you're going to definitely toot the horn about. But after seeing the Pistons also drop a game, that was a handle your business game to the Wizards, it was definitely awesome to see them go out there and bludgeon, straight up bludgeon the New Orleans Pelicans.
Absolutely. And just remember, I understand that the Pelicans have a terrible record and they blow and all of that, but they're a little bit better when Zion Williamson is in the lineup. And Zion played last night, and Zion actually played pretty well. But you know who didn't play well? CJ McCollum. Yikes. That might have been the worst I've ever seen him play basketball. CJ McCollum's actually good. He just didn't look like it last night.
Uh-oh.
Cost me my parlay.
Tell the people we got on the menu, brother.
Absolutely. We got a lot of Pistons talk to open the show because they've earned it. And I think last night was a fairly interesting step in the progression of the Detroit Pistons. I'll tell you why in just a couple of minutes. We also got a little TLB, a couple of edge rushers that we had mentioned on Friday's show that I would have liked the Lions to potentially sign, and we all, I think, were open to the idea to some extent, got signed, including one by the Super Bowl champions. And I just want to ask everybody how you're feeling about the Lions in free agency as a result to the defensive line, or if you want to take it in another direction, feel free. And also, we got to check in on those Detroit Tigers because there are a disturbingly a high amount of players who we thought were going to be fixtures of this team this year that will at the very least not be playing on opening day. How does that affect our expectations? How could that affect the team? We'll get into it, but the Pistons, of course, take center stage today.
But those Tigers, I can't wait to talk about it because there's this weird mix, this weird energy when you think about, like you said, some of those players we thought we were going to depend on. Some of them, they just started performing on the field, and some of them are injured. And it's just like, we got to figure this thing out. We know last year, hot start, and it helped to really bolster them. Imagine if they didn't have that hot start to the season.
They probably would have been so out of it that they couldn't make that incredible run at the end. But
yeah,
hey.
I can't wait to talk about it. I know the chat family has been waiting for it too. But one thing that they've been asked for too is they like when we start to show off with Pistons victories, man. And 127-81, this was their second largest road victory in team history, man. Shout out to the Pistons for just going out there and doing what we say they should do all the time. Handle business. You know, we got the victory shades on for today. And one of the things I liked is Cade Cunningham. The efficiency. Just he seemed so unbothered. After a game that was so much emotion, We see it from the players on the court to JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons just crashing out. They still fought. They still battled against like SJ putting up one of his best games of the season. But we see Cade Cunningham come back the next game, and he's unfazed and unbothered and puts up just an easy 24, 8 assists, 4 rebounds on 10 of 16 shooting, 1 of 2 from behind the arc, man. And what I really like is this. It was a stat that just dropped about your top paint and rim defenders and such. Why is Cade Cunningham, out of all the non-bigs, why is Cade Cunningham number 6 in the NBA? Ooh. And in the NBA, he's number 22. Think about that, his impact. So it's like we're getting this Cade Cunningham who, I get it, sometimes people may say, well, his 3 ball's not dropping. Believe me when I say this, he is doing so much on the court, and really that's a microcosm of this entire team. When you look at guys like Ron Holland and Schroeder, Beasley, and just the energy, just put the points aside. Look at the energy, the hustle, the defense. I'm glad to see that that's what returned last night.
Yeah, and speaking of the Pistons, I'm going to read this super chat from Dante151. I think we can all agree that we are all degenerate baseball fans. Also, Maz called it yesterday on E&E with saying, put your money on the Pistons last night. And shout out Tom Mazaway. That was a heck of a call. None of us knew just how right he actually was. A 46-point win, holding the Pelicans to 81 points. And yeah, you mentioned Cade Cunningham, so I'll start with Cade Cunningham. The last couple of games were a little bit rough for him. We could say that the Wizards game, he did put up good numbers, but he wasn't very efficient, and they lost. And we all know that that's a loss you just cannot have. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder game, we all know what happened. He got ejected early. He obviously got frustrated. But even before that, he didn't play his best game. However, what's the sign of a star? When you have an opportunity for a get-right, just take advantage. Just the smoothest and easiest 24, 4, and 8 I think I've ever seen any basketball player have. And that's not too much hyperbole considering it was a 46-point win, which is under control the whole time. Got his points and assists in a variety of different ways. You love to see a get back, because when you're a star like Cade Cunningham, you're not going to be held down for too many games in a row. And you mentioned it before. There are so many things on the court that even when his shot isn't falling, which it certainly wasn't in the last couple of games, he still impacts the game. But we all know when his shot is falling, when he is scoring, it's over for the rest of the league. Yeah, it's over for the rest of the league.
You said that so well, and it's awesome to be able to talk about Cade Cunningham in this light now, because they're winning. Because we know all the things that he's been doing are now contributing to we're seeing it in the win columns. He's always been contributing. I would have hated to see just how bad this thing could have really gotten without him, because we're talking about an aspect of no hope versus hope. There's a lot of Pistons fans who I got to interview, a lot of Pistons fans we got to talk to, a lot of people here who held on to hope because of the type of player they knew Cade Cunningham was and could become as well. So, seeing him go out there and have these type of bounce-back games, but also in the games where the efficiency from a shooting perspective might not be there, still knowing that they've won games because of the gravity he's still attracting. So you want your star going out there and feeling comfortable going through his motions. And I do believe that one of the things Cade is probably going through from a maturation standpoint is finally playing with players that are going to hit those shots. Finally playing with players that are going to cut, players that can be your secondary facilitator. Because Asar Thompson started off that game with Greg Kelser dropping he looks like Magic Johnson out there. and it's awesome to see these players thrive because of the work they're putting in, but also understanding the type of player that Cade Cunningham is. They're able to take better advantage of the space that he creates, whether his shot is falling or not. That's one of the more, in my opinion, one of the more critical things to look at when you're talking about or assessing Cade Cunningham. When the efficiency is there, it's just that much easier, and you want it there. But that's not to slight him if it's not there, to say as if his effect isn't throughout this entire game.
Absolutely. Everybody benefits from Cade. And that doesn't mean that Cade is the only reason that these players are good. But Asar Thompson, how many easy looks has he gotten? Jalen Duren, the two-man game. Tim Hardaway, open threes. Malik Beasley, open threes. We could go on and on, et cetera, et cetera. That's what happens when you have a great point guard like a Cade Cunningham, who knows how to make others better and to make himself better as well. And as these players like the Durans and the Asars continue to improve, even outside of just being a finisher for Cade Cunningham, it's It's going to be a tough time for the rest of the league. And you saw what can happen when an offense is running like a well-oiled machine. And like I said, I understand that the Pelicans are awful. I'll just repeat it again. Zion Williamson and C.J. McCollum played. Mm-hmm. And those are two really good NBA basketball players. Let me ask you this.
What did they do to us last year?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why
you missed one shot for 40 points?
And that's why you have to strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. Even though the Pelicans were playing with a bit of a more with more of their horses than they sometimes are, even though of course no Brandon Ingram. But
Flannel.
Yes.
A wild Simone Fontecchio appeared, bro. Like, what the heck? 23 points on 9 of 10 shooting, 7 rebounds. And you know what? He to me is one of those X factors. When you're talking about can this team get to a different level, Simone Fontecchio has the skill set. And it's wild to see what's happened since his foot injury, because he and Cade Cunningham, they had developed a really nice chemistry. It's from the time he got there. Fontecchio's told this story several times. He said Cade Cunningham was the first player in his entire career to ask him, hey, bro, where do you like your passes? How do you, when you cut, do you like to cut? Do you like to this? Do you like to trail? Do you play in the pick and roll? That's like blows my mind that you're in the NBA and you're playing with decent point guards up to that point, and none of these guys are asking you this because they just think you're an afterthought. And so when he got the foot injury, which is something I know a lot of people, they might not have understood or known even happened. He was rehabbing all summer from the surgery, from the injury. And that's where I'm like, you know what? If you can get this type of a Fontecchio, though, it helps this Pistons team be that much better, because one of the things we started seeing, Fontecchio's defense is improving. He's been able to be a rangy defender in multiple cases, and it was multiple times he was switched on to SGA or Lou Dort. He made it tough for them, and they couldn't score over him. And so it's like, if you get Fontecchio hitting some shots, I know that his motor is always high, but golly, Fontecchio, more of last night, my brother.
That was that was beautiful. And for the record, yes, I know Brandon Ingram doesn't play on the Pelicans anymore. I'm just referring to what they had at the beginning of the year as opposed to what they have now. Obviously, we know the Pelicans are not going anywhere. But when it comes to Simone Fontecchio, man, and I understand we can't expect that 9 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 5 from 3, but this was at least the Simone Fontecchio archetypal offensive game that we saw multiple times last year and have been waiting for all season long. Fortunately, it hasn't cost the Pistons a damn thing because they're wildly exceeding their expectations, but imagine if Simone Fontecchio can get on a little bit of a run to end the year and maybe even crack his way into the postseason rotation, because the way that things have been looking before last night, that was a bit iffy. I guess the question is this a trend, or was this one of those, a blowout game, Simone Fontecchio just getting basically an unlimited leash to just do whatever he wants and can't count on him during tougher games? But at the end of the day, it was just good to see, because Simone Fontecchio, we know throughout his entire history, including last year, including his time with Utah, the man can shoot, and he just hadn't found it all year. But that doesn't just go away. Yeah,
no, I feel that, Merle. And you know what? I'm telling you, Fontecchio could be one of those types of pieces, especially if Jaden Ivey. It was good to see Jaden Ivey, just a quick update, shooting around in the gym. You know, no brace or anything of that nature on, and he was just out there full weight on the leg. So shout out to Jaden Ivey. It's good to see him. I know he gave some statements as well about his rehab process and where his mind has been. But I almost am on the side of, obviously if he's healthy and the doctors are clearing him, the Pistons are going to potentially and probably put him out there. I'm almost like, bro, just get healthy. You have a big offseason. 2 big off seasons here now with contract extension eligibility. And I believe in what Jaden Ivey can be as a player. So when you look at a Simone Fontecchio, though, who's already here, still rehabbed from this foot injury, he gives you this opportunity to actually have some of that dynamic of a player that you could depend on from a scoring standpoint, from a hustle standpoint, scrapping it up in the middle of the paint and such. Some of the things that I do believe Jaden Ivey did well that we still miss on this team. So Simone Fontecchio, bro, keep it up, man. And I want to be able to also go over these team stats and look ahead maybe in the next segment.
Go, absolutely. That should be a lot of fun, because I'll tell you what, if you're referring to the team stats from last night, they are very pretty. I will just say that.
It was beautiful music.
I probably shouldn't say pretty in terms of basketball, but you know what I mean.
You know what? One of them, the largest lead, Pistons 46, the Pelicans 0.
And what was the final score? It was a 46-point game. But anywho, we got to talk about Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet dealer of the year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. The 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog picked. No matter how you do it, go to woodwardsportsbracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chuck and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000 into your account, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. If it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. Hey, if you bet on the Pelicans last night, which was a bad choice, that $20 goes right back into your account. Do yourself a favor. Scan the QR code. Use code word Woodward1000. And you know what? Make some money tonight.
Make some money. Stay away from the Pelicans. And you know what? Those Pelicans, Flannel Sam, are on the schedule one more time before the Detroit Pistons wrap up the season. And one of the things that's interesting is looking at the fact that these 38-31 Pistons are going to be favored in at least 5 of their remaining games on the schedule. So they got a good chance in those just by winning your handle your business games to getting to 43 wins, bro. And then if you find a way to wheel a couple more, this team can definitely hit that 46. I don't know how that 51 is looking, man. I see KG over there in the booth, but overall, it's awesome that all of us can be ecstatic about who these Detroit Pistons are, because like you've already stated, they've blown through the expectations and they're not satisfied. That's why we still see this team going out there and caring. That's why we see the passion this far into the season for a squad that had won 31 games combined the previous 2 seasons. Yeah. And now you got a squad that has a good chance to finish the season over 500 and a surefire playoff spot, man. But you know what? A lot of what had kind of underpinned their success before this little bit of a rocky place for them, it returned last night. And sometimes you need to see the ball go through the hoop. Sometimes you need to look at the stat sheet and see, oh, okay, we are back to it. Sometimes you have to. It's like almost like riding a bike. And once you get back to it, once you see it, once you get the good mojo, seeing them after the game, hey, play the song and all of that, Sometimes you need that because them boys were looking frustrated. They don't like the taste of losing, Flannel Sam. So it was dope to see them go out there and just absolutely go to work, man. You got those team stats?
I do. And before I read off the team stats, I just wanted to mention one more thing is that when I talked about this being an important stepping stone game in the maturation and the development of an up-and-coming good team, I meant it in a way of they obviously lost one that you shouldn't lose to Washington.
Yep.
That was I was very disappointed after that game. I know they were as well. I know the players even admitted that they, or maybe not the players plural, but Isaiah Stewart, I think, as the spokesman, even said maybe we could have taken it a little bit more seriously. And then, of course, we all know what happened in the OKC game at home. A very emotionally charged game. Cade Cunningham got ejected. They still had a chance to win, but SGA did some special things at the end. Just two, like, really tough losses, a lot of emotion going into one. But how do they
Players
respond?
took the responsibility in the post-game press conference on both of those.
But the way to respond to that is to just go into a team that's reeling and just beat them like they stole something. And that's exactly what they did, a 46-point win. And now I will read the team stats because they are absolutely beautiful to watch. If you just want to go to field goal percentage, 55%, Pelicans 33. 3-point percentage, Pistons 37, Pelicans 16. Rebounds 50-39. Fast break points. This is a big discrepancy. 23 for the Pistons and 4 for the Pelicans.
That's insane.
And obviously we saw them get quite a few steals and blocks. But what I liked about this game too, especially in the beginning of the game, we all know that the Pelicans missed a lot of shots. I mean, CJ McCollum could have built the yellow brick road with all the bricks that he was putting up. But when the Pistons were getting the rebounds, they would push the ball in transition. They just wanted to boat race this team, and they did. And we're seeing a lot of examples of some transition buckets right there. Some absolutely beautiful ones. That one was fantastic. Schroeder to
Asar's
Cade.
no-look pass was ridiculous to Cade.
Got some guys on this, and that's the thing. You got some guys on this team that you're seeing can really just like pass the ball. I think Cade Cunningham is one of the better passers in the entire NBA and is going to continue to grow as that. But Jalen Duren is obviously growing a lot as a playmaker, 6 assists. Asar Thompson can, I think he has that gift, that passing gift that some players do and some players don't. We'll see how often that's utilized in the future, but when it is, he certainly is capable. And Dennis Schroeder as well, 5 assists. We've seen him in multiple games, even in the Thunder game, really be the lead point guard at the end. Just know how to distribute the ball and just be that secondary ball handler. So you love to see that. Multiple players can push it in transition. Multiple players can pass. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. And the cherry on the top of all of that when it comes to great passing is the Pistons had 33 assists to the Pelicans 18.
I was waiting. I knew you were setting it up. I was like, my man Flannel cooking. I was like, he missed one stat. And I was like, I see what he's doing.
Hey, and
I
that's
see
the
what
Asar
he's
no
doing.
look.
Woo!
Go late.
That was sick. Do that one again. Again and again and again.
That's insane.
But this is what he was doing at overtime elite.
That's what full-time point guards do. That's insane.
They have to find a way to get him.
That's why I say he's got the gift. Some players just don't, and that's okay, by the way. Not everybody has the gift of passing, but Asar, just in a small-ish, well, actually, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, just a very small sample size, you see it. And I want to see it a little bit more because in transition, if he's running the break, it's absolutely deadly. I mean, even if he's not running the break, if he's just one of the rim runners, he's deadly as well. So love to see it.
It's crazy, bro. Like our small forward, is throwing a no-look pass for a dunk to our point guard.
Oh,
like that's what I'm saying. It's like Cade Cunningham like this and the off ball. Adding a Dennis Schroeder, and I can't wait till Jaden Ivey is back in action. But adding a Dennis Schroeder did two things. It added another facilitator, and it added another vet who's used to this type of pressure, who understands these end-of-season situations and moments, who understands playoff basketball. Now, all of a sudden, you have 4 vets on this team who have been in high-pressure stakes games. Yeah. When you talk about Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway, who just played in a pretty big series last year, Malik Beasley, who played with Giannis, and now a Dennis Schroeder. So you got these young, more mature guys who they're tired of getting punched in the face. They're tired of where Detroit basketball's name has gotten, and they have all locked in to say, let's get it done here. And now you got the right type of vets to be able to step in like Malik Beasley after that last game. All of Detroit was hot. All of Detroit. And he was like, nope, we got to be better. It's on us. I know, like, he must understand, yes, it sucks what's going on, but if he knows the heart and the makeup of his team, then that's why Beasley would step to the table and say, I want more out of these guys. Because the going to work Pistons, as much as we talk about their defense, one of the things that really, really, really boosted them is that listen, were they going to get frustrated? Yes, but they did not allow that to take them out of their games. They just turned it up. And that's where I know Beasley believes this team can get. I believe that when Beasley steps to the podium and says, I expect more of our team, including me, he's saying, as much as we fought in this, as much as there was an uphill battle, I still think we could have beat SGA in his 48 points. That, to me, it speaks volumes. And those young guys in that locker room, they hear this type of stuff. They hear it. But Beasley, he talked about the makeup of this core compared to some of the other teams he's been on. And Tobias Harris as well. Tim Hardaway as well. These guys have talked about it. Now you got Dennis Schroeder. They came back after a couple weeks and asked him. He's like, I love it here. Like, I like this. So it's like, you know what? They got such a good mix. And then you got JB Bickerstaff just kind of sprinkling the finishing touches on this thing, man. And it's this is where, when you look at their handle your business games the rest of the way, you really want to see this team go out there and just punch everybody in the face and snag some of those victories that a lot of these other people don't think, because it's still, the jokes are still, some of the underlying national stuff is, well, yeah, cool on the Pistons. They still can't beat nobody of importance. It's like, come on, dog.
Well, and you've got some opportunities. You've got Cleveland at home, a little ways down the road. You've got Memphis at home. You've got the Knicks at home. You've got the Bucks at home. Those aren't necessarily the games that you're referring to where it's like they're going to be favored.
The Bucks, man.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. That would be absolutely huge. You certainly don't want to end the year with 2 losses to the Bucks, because I think if that happens, it's a pretty safe bet that the Bucks will be ahead of the Pistons in the standings. But you've got plenty of opportunity, and you're right about what Malik Beasley said. When it comes to the aftermath of the Thunder game, both things can be true. I'm happy that JB Bickerstaff stood up for his guys and called out some of the injustices, but I'm also glad that Malik Beasley was able to highlight some of the ways in which the Pistons could have been better, because with all that went on in that game, all of the injustices, and there were quite a few. Cade should have never been thrown out of the game, for example. That's obviously the most egregious. You also have to understand that the Thunder have the best record in the NBA for a reason. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, even though a lot of you don't like him because of the foul baiting, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win the MVP for a reason, and he was special. He was special on Saturday night. Say what you want. Say what you want. He was special.
Dog, do you understand how, like, we know he's special.
Yeah.
And then to sit there and you're seeing him just sauce your team, bro, it's just like, golly. Yeah. He was hitting shots on certain angles that he wasn't hitting 2 and 3 years ago, but you knew that he's going to get there one day. And that's where, when I look at like a Cade Cunningham, some of the shots he was missing that game, he cleaned up and was hitting the Pelicans game. And I look forward to him becoming one of those types of players, and his stats are already putting him in their company. Now he just has to have the success, the long-term success, winning games, making it to the All-Star appearances, making All-NBA appearances, and getting your team to having that playoff success, as well as being a title contender. These are the things that SGA has helped his team elevate. But beyond that, he got some dogs on defense. And when I look at the Pistons, I see a similar makeup to them. And ironically so, because who had certain hands to do in the OKC regimes over certain eras? Troy Weaver. Yeah. And so you look at this young core and you realize OKC has gotten here because a lot of those young core pieces have finally developed. And now the Pistons are going to get there because they've been able to have some of this young core develop and put the right mix of vets around them with the right type of tutelage. And I do believe it's going to give them a good opportunity, bro, down the end of this season. You got, 7 games, 7 wins gets you to 45.
7 games gets you to 45, and that's a 500 stretch to end the season. And honestly, maybe I'm being a little bit too greedy at this point. I think I'd be a little bit disappointed with a 7-7 finish.
I think 46 wins is it, man.
Like just with the renewed expectations, which is okay, by the way. And we all understand that in the grand scheme of things, they could go over the rest of the season and make the play-in and it's still a successful year, but we would all be raising hell because with new information, with new level of play, we're allowed to change our expectations. And just looking at their schedule, I think minimum 8-6. Minimum 8-6, and I can live with it. Anything 7-7 and below, and I'm a little bit disappointed. But then again, at the end of the day, I think even 7-7 or 6-8 or maybe even 5-9 will, at the very worst, get you comfortably into that 6th seed.
Horribly in everything that they do.
Oh, they won in overtime last night against Timberwolves. You had a winning streak. I get it. I get it. You can't win them all, but
you can't.
That was a really good game though.
They've been in some pretty good games the last couple weeks, including the Bucks one. So
yeah.
But you know what? Them beating the Bucks though is why we have kind of even this close race that we do here right now, and obviously the Bucks and the Pacers are tied at for that 4th seed right now. The Bucks have the tiebreaker between the two, and the Pistons sit just one game behind them, brother. Just one game behind them. And I do believe if they get to that 46-47 wins, I actually think they do move up in the standings a little bit. But obviously, there's a lot of people who believe that New York Knicks, Detroit Pistons matchup might be a good one for this Pistons team. But it's going to be interesting because if they wind up in a 4 or 5 matchup with the Pacers, I feel like that's going to feed generations in the Midwest.
There really are no bad options in terms of storylines. Obviously, the Knicks one, that would just be, to me, just all kinds of basketball sex appeal. Just not even like the return of the Pistons and the Knicks. I personally think the NBA is better when the Knicks are at least relevant. So I'm glad to see playoff games at the Garden. The Pacers and Pistons right now are. At least the Pacers right now, I would say, are the Pistons' biggest rivalry, and there is that Midwest connection. I know that Halliburton has become a little bit of public enemy number 1 in this city, but even if it were the Milwaukee Bucks, you got going up against Giannis and the Bucks, a team that won the championship a few years ago, the guy who I still believe is the best player in the East. That would be an interesting measuring stick as well. But at the end of the day, we're having conversations about Pistons in the playoffs. It's so beautiful. So any matchup beautiful. We welcome, any challenge we welcome. Yes, I can go. any matchup is welcome, but I just want to highlight there really are no bad options in terms of just cinematic theater.
There aren't, man. Everyone presents an opportunity for our young star in Cade Cunningham to take that next step forward and for new ones to be developed. And one player I just want to make sure that we shout out, man, before we move on. Yeah. Ron Holland. Yeah. I like what the Rook is doing, and I know that he's not going to get a lot of fanfare for what he's doing amongst the other rookies. It's crazy to see rookie power rankings and to not see Ron Holland's name listed. I think is criminal. Especially, I'm so glad that throughout the course of the season, Flannel, you've continued to track Ron Holland's per 36 minutes and see that this guy is making a heck of an impact. And realistically, I think that it's in previous years, I think that we see more of Ron Holland. But I think under a JB Bickerstaff, we're getting a Ron Holland who they're going to play in spurts to the best of his ability and skill set and be able to really focus on the development part, because think about what Ron Holland can be in a few years. I'm like, okay, we're still in this season, but the development I'm already seeing right now under JB Bickerstaff and his staff has me like, my goodness, what is this team going to be in a couple seasons? But shout out to Ron Holland. His energy was just kind of, it was so apparent that it just lit up all across social media as soon as the guy almost stepped onto the court. And, he put up 10 points last night on 3 or 4 shooting, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. And he's one of those guys that just gets out there into the passing lanes and helps to start that, what I believe to be the Pistons' best offense, which is a defense to offense. And he found a way to get 3 stocks last night, 2 steals and a block.
He's been one of the most impactful good team rookies, if
it's a good distinction,
if that makes sense. And that's why he doesn't get the usage of a guy like Alex Sarr, who's been balling lately, by the way. We saw that firsthand, like a Richasset or a Stephon Castle, who the Spurs unfortunately lost Victor Wembanyama.
JB called that one.
Yeah,
JB called that one. I remember that.
He did, but those are teams that don't have the aspirations that the Pistons do right now. Obviously, we know the Hawks, they're going to make the play-in, but I don't think they're an actual threat. But when you look at good team impactful rookies, Ron Holland is right there up with almost anybody. Obviously, we have to look at Zach Edey as well, who surprised a lot of us and had himself a heck of a rookie year. But once again, Ron Holland, for those of you who haven't listened before or who are just tuning in, Ron Holland on a per 36-minute basis is averaging 14 points and 6 rebounds and over 2 assists and 1.5 steals. That's pretty damn good.
Dog Pound Jr., man.
Hey.
I like what he wanted to step in right away and fit the culture. One of the questions I was able to ask him at the Pistons Basketball Academy this summer was, effectively, it was multiple and it was layered. One of them was, hey, what do you bring into the court right away? What's translating right away? Oh, defense, number one. But anything they ask me to do, even if it's not shooting, even if there's no shots for me, I'm still going to go out there and I'm going to hustle, I'm going to dive in front of this, I'm going to start reposting some of those and replaying them because shout out to him. I think that he should get more fanfare, but you know how the NBA goes. And then the other aspect of it was, hey, you're here in Detroit now. I know that you come from Dallas. I know that, the Cowboys are the squad. But this is your city now. Who are you going to be? Because I know your pops is Cowboys fan. He's like, nope, I already told my pops, I'm Detroit. My man lives in the city. He's talking about, bro, I hear the Tigers fans. I hear it. I need that here. He said, this is what I'm committed to. He said, I'm a Lions fan. I will be at the games when the Lions and the Cowboys are playing. He said, I'm going to be there repping the Detroit Lions. So it's like to understand that he also then goes on his social media and every now and then is posting bad boys type stuff. And the funniest was the one that was just like, in the 90s, the MJ was for the Bulls, Magic for the Lakers, for the Pistons. We just beat the F out of people. And that's what he's posting to his Instagram because he wants to be about that culture, that grit, that grime. And that's who he's been as a player. So it was cool to see him developing into that right here. And he gets to do that, like you stated, on a pretty good team right now with really good coaching and development to boot. He's going to be, I believe, one of those players you look back on and say, you know what, that was a sneaky good draft class.
I think so too. Just if there are many ways a rookie can impact a team, and if you don't get the usage that a lot of the others are, just play some of the more impactful 15 to 20 minutes that you can per night. And Ron Holland, for the most part, has been doing that all season long. So shout out to Ron Holland. It's been nice to watch him develop throughout his rookie season. But when we come back, we got a TLB. Because we're going to talk a little bit about free agency, the edge rusher position. One very notable one just got signed to one very notable team, somebody that I have profiled and we all agreed would be an interesting fit. But he will not be with the Lions. But tell us about the opening day.
Goodness gracious, man. We'll get to it. Hey, but you know what? This is one of my favorite times of the year. And it was prior because our teams were struggling, and at least we had opening day, right?
Yeah.
Tigers opening day, but now we got everybody really percolating down there on Woodward Avenue, and you know what? Woodward Sports will be too. Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here on April 4th. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D, the Grand Slam Festival, outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. The broadcast is brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. Oh, gonna get White Claw flannel. Where drinks will be flowing, smoke clouds will rise, and the party won't stop. WSN broadcast will go all day. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports opening day brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. And hey, listen, chat family. You can get your tickets now to make sure that you can get into the building. But we will be bringing giveaways. I know Cavassier Chase was one of the recipients of that last year. Shout out, man. So we want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to come down and party with us at the Grand Slam Opening Day Festival. Tap in.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, fairly knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. The sun is shining. The warmth is supposed to come back as well. You know, it's always that struggle in the state of Michigan with when winter and spring are fighting. But today is going to be one of those days, and, it's kicked off with a Pistons victory. But now we're going to talk about something that seems to be a lot more divisive now than I really have seen in any of the prior seasons, and I believe it's because of the juncture we're at. It's no longer about can you acquire talent through the draft. It's no longer about can you develop that talent. Now it's about how can you best continue to keep this type of success, not just moving forward, but also taking it up a level. And there's some people out there who don't believe that Brad Holmes has done enough to address the edge position, the pass rush position, for a few years now of, having Super Bowl expectations. And so I want to ask you, how have you been feeling about Brad Holmes' free agency so far as it relates to addressing the pass rush? Oof.
That sigh, I don't like that.
Woosah.
I would say I would like a little bit more. And before everybody jumps at my head and goes at me for like, what'd you want? Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, blah, 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 blah.
Kinda.
Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
This is why I'm at the point where I'm at right now. What happened with Zadarius Smith? Because obviously you understand that you can give a free agent the greatest offer that you can, and they might not want to come here. And that's fair. Obviously, we saw that Azeez Ojulari just signed with the Philadelphia Eagles for 1 year, $4 million. And if I heard today that Azeez Ojulari signed with the Lions for 1 year, $4 million, I would be doing backflips off of this. And of course, it's the freaking Eagles. And we all know that the Eagles are a team to be mindful of, considering they're the defending Super Bowl champions. My thing is that I still will never understand what they were doing with a Zadarius Smith. I understand that Big Z had a signing bonus and he was in theory going to be too expensive, but at the end of the day, they were in good cap shape even with Zadarius Smith. So that's what has made me have a little bit of a cause for pause for now. I understand that there's still some names left. Matt Judon is still left, for example. Von Miller is still left. If you want me to give a couple of other names, Charles Amenhue, Preston Smith. Not the greatest, but decent players, and if you can get them, or players even with Preston Smith that used to be really good, and Charles Amenhue was good with the Chiefs. I understand that, and I understand that there's still time for work to be done. I understand that there's going to be camp cuts, and I understand that there's a draft. But I do think that it is imperative for this team that the edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson is not Marcus Davenport. And I thought that at the very least it was going to be Zadarius Smith, but they let him go. And I understand that the Lions might re-sign him for a cheaper contract, and if they do that, I will basically get on my hands and knees for Brad. Pause. bow. But at the end of the day, I wanted them to keep Zadarius Smith. I hope that they have a plan. And that's the controllable where I'm like, I wouldn't have done that if I were Brad Holmes personally.
I agree with you there, and that's somewhere that I believe all of us were. We were excited to see Zadarius Smith play in a usage role that we thought when they made the trade, all of us said it's for right now to fill in, but also we have him under contract for next season as well. So, Aiden will come back. Aleem will get healthy, and Big Z doesn't have to play as big a role as he did last year. And if he's able to kind of be your sacks leader after you traded for him, who is he then when all the attention is not on him? Because he was the one that teams had to zero in on with Big Hutch down and a lot of the injuries that piled up on that defensive line. And that's where I was very excited to see, all right, we got this guy, pretty good trade, pretty good deal. It's not going to crater your cap space. We got Big Z. Now, if they bring him back, and you get that cheaper contract, like you said, that's a stroke of genius by one Brad Holmes. And he's shown to be able to do some good true moves. Some pan out, some don't. But the Big Z one was one that I thought, hey, this guy wants to be here. He's assimilated perfectly. He already looks like a Detroiter. Now he's dating a Detroiter. He's writing a culture already, and he actually performed on the field in a role that I believed was actually bigger than where he is right now as a player. And so that's where, another thing you talked about, and KG as well, is about who and how Zadarius Smith has been and how he's looked next to really good bookend edges. And that's where I was just like, it's right there for us. It's not like he came here and didn't perform well in an increased role. He came here and he did pretty decent, and that's where I'm like, golly. I'm hoping Brad Holmes has a plan. Something that I dropped yesterday is I believe he set himself up to say, you know what, we still have a pretty good defensive line with a healthy Aiden, healthy Aleem. We got a rotation platoon that we can deploy until Aleem McNeil gets back. And then you got the draft. Not that I believe they're going to go out there and draft a starter, but I do believe they're going to go out there and get a young dog. And I do believe maybe they're leaving themselves available for the trade deadline to see how does this team by the trade deadline, how do they look? Are there worse things that we need to go and prop up by that time than what we see right now? And that's where I'm hoping Brad Holmes, who's generally had a really, in my opinion, kind of good feel on these things, the last couple trade deadlines, I feel like he's been more right than what we've been. And that's where I'm wondering, is he kind of gearing up or leaving himself available for that, since this team is still a 15-2 team, sure, adding an Aiden Hutchinson?
Well, and I wanted to read a couple of comments because I think we can maybe not kumbaya amongst the chat, but just to kind of get a gauge for further discussion. This is from a Hoof-Hearted. The problem with Z's contract was 2026. He would have counted $6 million against the cap in 2026, but that's the year that Goff's contract hits the cap hard. And I will say this. If another move is to be made, like bringing Zadarius Smith back, or even if it's Von Miller, Charles Omenihu, they end up drafting a Jared Verse, or even hell, Leatu Latu or Chop Robinson style player, and they don't bring back Zadarius Smith, I will shut my mouth about it. I promise. And I'll be like, okay, Brad, I get what you were doing. My thing is that I think there should be a slight bit of urgency when it comes to not having Marcus Davenport be your bookend edge rusher, because he hasn't shown that he can be healthy the last couple of years. He hasn't really shown he can be healthy throughout his entire career. That's why you gave him the contract that you did, which if he performs, fantastic, but I don't necessarily trust it. And then outside of that, Josh Paschal, with all due respect, So, I mean, come on. You could argue that was a bad pick. You certainly could. He's got this year to really prove himself, but he hasn't really been that healthy or productive in his career as well. So I'm not necessarily saying that Brad Holmes has done a bad job in free agency, because I like a lot of moves, and And certainly when it comes to like DJ Reed or re-signing Levi O, in tandem with a Roy Lopez, I certainly liked that. But at the end of the day, there needs to be more, in my opinion, than just getting rid of a Zadarius Smith and signing Marcus Davenport. Do I think there will? Sure, but the options are becoming a lot more limited. It's starting to look more like the draft is where he's going to cook up.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what he does during the draft. We know that he goes into drafts and he gets starters that develop into Pro Bowlers. And some of those guys look like it in season 1. Shout out Sam Laporta. And that's where it's like, all right, go in there and do your thing, Brad. I'm not expecting, like I said, to go out there and find this a Jarrett verse necessarily, but I am expecting him to go into this draft and find those pieces that will contribute to the team, especially as you're hoping that Aiden Hutchinson and Lee McNeil and some of the other players that were injured. You talk about a Malcolm Rodriguez, from the linebacker position, though, who could also get into that backfield. You're getting these guys back, but you want to make sure that they're not having to go and play at like 150% like they were last year, coming off of some of the injuries they did. If you can get some players that can give you make some type of an impact and make sure, like when you look at a Roy Lopez and the fact that they're saying this guy is a downs eater and he gives, his motor is high, he's a nasty kind of physical type lineman. That's what I'm hoping that these Detroit Lions are able to do, because I don't know how much they're able to go into this draft with where they're picking and draft that guy. But I do know if there's somebody that can identify it, it's going to be a Brad Holmes who can identify it. And then you do. We have to make sure we leave open the realm of possibility for the trade deadline. But I do want to ask you this, because we have to frame it. Your comments are not based on just in a vacuum of who Brad Holmes is, but where the Lions are, their expectations in trying to win a Super Bowl. Because that's currently constructed. What's your confidence level in how they're currently constructed to perform in this NFC next year?
As they are currently constructed, I think the Eagles are definitely El Capitano right now, although they did lose Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, to be fair, but they've got some younger guys who are ready to step up and have bigger roles, and they did just get Azeez Ojulari. I'd still probably put them at second in the NFC, although you also have to contend that the Commanders are coming as well, but they're still very well positioned. I would have liked for them to keep Zadarius, and because they didn't, I would like them to make a corresponding move. And for all the people who are saying that, why are you obsessing about free agents that were never going to come here, like a Cody Ingle, one of the top Brad bots, my biggest bone of contention right now is about Zadarius Smith. The contract be damned. And I don't mean the contract be damned in terms of just like say F it, but a Zadarius Smith on the books for 2025 and even $6 million for 2026, is that really going to hurt you that much? People acting like he's making $30 million. Come on.
Understandable. And I guess my role in this is I'm trying to unify the fan base to some degree, because it's okay to have questions. And Flannel, like I totally understand what you're feeling, and I do honestly get both sides of this thing. Being a long-term Lions fan, like I get it, I do get it, but I just choose to err on the side that Brad does have a plan. He hasn't went too many times without having a plan. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. And it's okay to question, some of the moves that have gone down to this point. And I'm in the same boat as Flannel from the aspect of, okay, if you got rid of Zadarius Smith, what are you doing to replace that? Because at least I feel like they know that Marcus Davenport can't be your starter going forward. So you need somebody that can come in and can make a difference. At this point, it does appear like it's going to be through the draft, but I will just caution fans, there's still a lot of time to go. We have a lot of time to acquire that veteran pass rusher. Maybe it's not in the free agent market, but a lot of things happen after the draft. A lot of things happen post June 1st. We may not even get that pass rusher until camp, with some of the cuts and some of the movement that happens around that time as well. So I think the next big acquisition will be the draft. So fans probably just need to strap in and wait in terms of, getting that edge rusher. And I'm sure he'll get a edge rusher or two in the draft. But ultimately you do need something like a veteran to supplement all of this. And we would like it to be Zadarius Smith because he is somebody that came in and produced for this team. Now, whether they feel like he's the proper scheme fit, I don't know, because he does go against kind of the prototype that they normally look for in pass rushers, although he did come in and he was productive. But at the price point that I feel like you can get him at, this is still something that I would strongly consider Brad and the regime to go out there and do. Because if you can plug in a Zadarius Smith, I think he can easily be your starter to start the year. Yeah. If things change, you can, go accordingly. But he is somebody that can stay on the field. He's capable of double-digit sacks even at his age. And I would love to have him back in the Lions uniform.
Definitely would, man. You spitting over there, man. And it's interesting. I'm curious to see what the Detroit Lions are going to do this year on defenses. Didn't they add another depth linebacker, I believe, from the Colts this offseason as well? I forget the name.
Grant Stewart.
Yeah, Grant Stewart. Yeah. And we all know the flexibility of their safeties as well. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do because you're right. But two questions for you.
Yeah.
Same when I asked Flano as well, your confidence level in this team as currently constructed and knowing what they can do in the draft. But two, as well as you, Flano, what's your confidence level in this team going into the draft and getting a guy that makes an impact on that defensive line?
I mean, both of them are 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a full 10 is because of how things ended last year and even the year before that, to be honest. But we know the waters that we're in now. We all know that everything is dependent upon playoff success. Even in the face of 15 wins last year, it's widely considered a failure just based on what your expectations were and the fact that you didn't get it done. But like I said, to this point, Brad Holmes has not shown me that he doesn't know how to yield a team. He also has not shown me that he doesn't know how to attack a weakness. Our secondary was a weakness for a long time on this team, and I think we will all universally agree that that's been corrected. And really in a year's time that got corrected. I think we can expect to see the same thing at the pass rushing position. Like I said, a majority of your acquisitions will come through the draft just because they value cap space, they value rookie contracts, and if they can find the right type of player to come in here and fit this system, then you got them on the books for 5 years at a very cheap price. So I'm not necessarily mad at the method. Would I like to see a little more urgency? Of course, I'm a fan. I would like to see a move, especially when you see Azeez Ojulari go for like $4 million to the Eagles of all teams. That's a damn good move for them, and he is somebody that is going to come in and contribute for them just based on the talent around him. But ultimately, I just think we need to be patient, and it's going to take a little time. It's not going to be done the way we want it done, but I think we can get to the desired result. I just think we need to be a little more patient.
I feel that, man. I feel that. And for you, Flannel Sam, man, you confident in what Brad is going to do in this draft? You guys have done a good job at profiling the trench boys, and that's where I do believe that he's going to come away from this draft and this defensive line is going to be something. I see some of the comments as well in the chat that I'm hoping we can address.
Yeah.
But just wanted to be able to get your perspective on this draft. Some of the players you've profiled, obviously in comparison with where the Detroit Lions are picking as well at number 28.
My confidence level in this year's draft, if they want to go the draft route in terms of really bolstering this defensive line, it's pretty high. The one thing that gives me a small bit of cause for pause is that I don't think the 2024 draft really impacted that team as much as some people were led to believe. I understand that Terrion Arnold was a starter and he was solid at times. I'll give him that. Ennis Rakestraw was a nobody his rookie year, and a lot of it was due to injuries. Giovanni Manu was a nobody his rookie year. Christian Mahogany, albeit he was very good when he played, only played 144 snaps. Sione Vaki was a special teams player, although a very good one, and I don't know if I'm missing anybody, but
Sam, just to push back on that a little bit, one, it's only been a year. And, there's still plenty of time to figure out whether this draft class was good or not. And just based on where the Lions were at the time of last year's draft, you didn't need a lot of people to come in here and just make an impact day one. Of course, you needed that at the corner position, which is why you took back-to-back corners in round 1 and round 2. And I would say that Terrion Arnold hit the ground running. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. But he is somebody that can hold down that number 2 corner role, maybe even number 1 with a little more seasoning. And, he's came in and he's hit the ground running. We still don't know about Rakestraw. Manu and Mahogany, by all accounts, seem to be on track. I guess you can at least say that. And Sayoni Vaki, while used in a very limited role, he did show, some flashes. I think he can be a contributor to this Lions team. So ultimately, I just think it's just a tad too soon to say that the 2024 draft was just no impact at all.
Well, I'm talking about for one season. I'm not saying that that they aren't going to be all really good players. It's just as of right now, if you're going to, let's just say Zadarius Smith doesn't come back, right now your bookend edge rusher is Marcus Davenport. I would really like somebody that makes an impact right away. At least one defensive lineman. And like I said, it could be a variety of different ways. It could be Jared Verse. That would be amazing. We'd all be thrilled with that. Or it could even be in the way that Chop Robinson was impactful. We'd be thrilled with that as well.
Yeah, and that's where, you're looking at things, and I get it. The reason why I would honestly view it year by year is because they're not rebuilding. They're in the middle of a Super Bowl window. Yeah. So those players that hit that roster have to be able to contribute to that, or else we walk away another year and now looking like the San Francisco 49ers of the last decade, of getting just close enough but not able to get over the edge. And that is where it is important in this draft for Brad to cook up. Not that you're looking for, not that you believe or that it's all riding on him to go and draft a superstar to, but to at least go out there and get those players that can, in those spurts, man, that they're going to play, in the rotations that they're going to play. Understanding that Davenport, even if Davenport is ahead of you in the depth chart, get prepared to play some games this year.
Yeah.
That's where you really have to make sure you got some guys. And he's done well with that. This team went 15-2, losing depth all season long. And who continued to step up? The players that Brad Holmes was identifying. And that's where I do my confidence level, like KJ, it's very, very high.
How can it not be?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's because we're talking about a guy who has produced, but where it does start to just get a little more, pause for concern a little bit, is when you have to factor in that they're in the middle of a Super Bowl window, and the Eagles did get better this offseason, and the Commanders are doing everything in their power to make sure that they don't fall off. And so you got some teams that you're going to have to contend with, including some of the ones in the past that we thought those teams could be, but they fell off. And let's not forget, we do play in the NFC North.
And not to say that the Lions can't get better from where they are right now, but we're talking about a 15-2 number 1 seeded team. And I get it, they didn't do it in the playoffs, but overall, what we don't need, drastic moves to this team. Would it have been nice to get a superstar? Of course. I'm not going to deny that. As a fan, I would love that. But at the same time, you don't need to add that much more to this mix. You're already right there. This just needs to be very, very strategic moves at this point.
But KG, you're just giving some of the slappies just red meat with what you said right there.
I'm not trying.
Yes, you are.
I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but when you said superstar, I'm talking about, I would have been thrilled with Azeez Ojulari. I would have been thrilled with Dante Fowler Jr. I'd still be thrilled with even Von Miller at this stage, at this point. And beggars can't be choosers. So I don't want anybody to mistake me for, we should have gave Josh Sweat $25 million and basically outbid the Cardinals. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
if we sign Zadarius Smith, if we re-sign him, I feel like most of the fan base will.
I will shut the fuck up. I will shut the fuck up. You will never. I will. This like flannel wearing MFer will shut the fuck up. I promise.
Look,
I promise. If Brad Holmes makes a move that I like to address his defensive line, I will again shut the fuck up. The problem is that I host a sports show, so what I want is going to dictate what I say, whether you guys like it or not.
I feel you, but if we were to go into the draft and they trade up and go get somebody that we feel like is a very, very good prospect, I feel like the fans will be satisfied. If he follows up that second round pick with another edge rusher, I feel like fans will be satisfied at that point as well.
Let's work on some trade up scenarios too for socials.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that would be dope for some edge rushers. But the chat's been blowing up, and I know we have super chats. Usually we try to get them before we go to break. Let's go to break and kick off the next segment with the super chats and some of these comments in here. You know, one of the comments we'll respond maybe after. Ed O'Neill, confidence level is low. Brad hasn't shown me he can draft D linemen. So, you know, this is a large part of the sentiment that I am seeing from some of this vocal displeasured Detroit Lions. Hey, listen,
I get it, man.
Since you guys understand what it feels like to be non-pleasure, make sure y'all are satisfying that like button.
Ooh.
Don't leave the like button displeasure. We'll talk about that on the end of the break too.
Yeah, we will.
We're friends.
Take a shower.
Hey, what up, though, TJ?
Why you gotta say it so sexual like that, bro?
Shower up and get ready.
Let me tell you about some merch that we got going on right now. Head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We got new designs for you every single week. Well, let me tell you about the ones we got up on screen right now. The LFG, shout out Kool-Aid, Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies that are available right now. And you can't forget about the Woodward Tigers as well too, because you know what? Opening day is around the corner and you need to be decked out with some Woodward Sports Tigers gear as well too while you're celebrating the Tigers. So head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab, and you know what? Just buy a couple things. How about that?
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, Woodward Sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or simply just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so there's always one right around the corner. But don't fear, because if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to go and check them out in stores, you can always see what they have online at jarscannabis.com, because you know what? I know you want to get high.
Hey, what up, though? Hey, like some people want Brad Holmes to get a high draft pick, maybe trade up. And I can't wait to see what those types of options look like, KG. He's been cooking up, too. We got some Tiger stuff hitting.
Yes, sir.
The socials today. He and Nick have been cooking up some Woodward Tiger stuff. So more content on the way for you all, especially with Tiger season just around the corner. And it is Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon Dan, KD Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter, writer for the network, Flannel Sam, our Red Wings correspondent, host of Woodward Wings alongside that dude, Justin. We got an elite booth here, and they're also the host of Woodward Ringside.
Yes, sir.
KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth. Woodward Sports MVP JBSmooovv in the TD booth. And we got Cavassier Chase in the building, working tough, working hard like he always does. Shout out to Matthew Broder and that dude Justin. I love freaking WUW Crew. And you know what? Satisfy that like button, people.
Ooh.
Treat it right. Treat it nice,
Hot
man.
out the shower.
Like I told you, if y'all are feeling displeasure right now,
Hey.
why would you want to let the like button feel that way?
Hey, I know y'all feel the feeling right now, man. So go ahead and slide that very lubricated finger across that screen, man, and just hit that like button a few times, man. Oh, okay. Don't go too fast.
You
don't want a big musket.
See, he said,
You don't want a big musket situation.
Finger, bro.
Bang. Hey, you know what?
My love going
Going
bang, bang, bang.
Oh, I love it. JB hit me right in the feels every time.
We gotta get back, man, because we had to woo side just a little bit, man. Get back to this conversation and JBSmooovv. I know we got some super chats, man, to clean up, and definitely if there are some ones that develop the conversation, we want to talk about it, because I've been honestly surprised about people's feelings on the Detroit Lions right now. And as us as fans, we've continued to say this. This has been the theme of this season, and it's been we have to learn how to be fans of a team with Super Bowl expectations. Mm-hmm. What we got over there, brother?
That is very true. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats. Get them in. Anything that you send in, like I said, goes to us. Getting into Summer League as well, too, but also goes to moving along this conversation and getting you some merch and some prizes as well, too. Shout out to Ed O'Neill sending in $4.99. He says, can we agree if the D-line is just Hutch once again by end of the year, we are going to have serious issues. Can't win a Super Bowl with only one viable option. And then also $4.99 from Dante151. Shout out. Joel Klatt releases mock draft, and he had the Lions drafting James Pierce Jr. And if that happens, then I would be extremely happy no matter what.
I know you would.
And let's, because I want to, both of those, man, they're kind of like within the context of what we're talking about. The Ed O'Neill one, because I'm curious on a response from Flannel. Can you read that one more time, man? Shout out to you guys as well for the super chats. I'm telling you all, it's very much appreciated, just like smashing that like button.
Definitely. Once again, Ed O'Neill, shout out to you. Can we agree if the D-line is just Hutch once again, by the end of the year, we're going to have serious issues? Can't win a Super Bowl with only one viable option. Flannel?
So, obviously, everybody knows that I'm a simp for Aiden Hutchinson, and I've had to fight the good fight. And a lot of the source of my fight was that there have been times where you have to admit, especially in 2023, where he really was doing it by himself. However, in this upcoming season, I can't praise the Levi Onwuzurike move and then just in the next breath just dismiss him as no help. And Aleem McNeil, I understand he's going to be hurt. He is hurt, but he's going to be out probably at least the first, I would say, 4 or 5 games is a rough estimate, maybe more, maybe less, give or take. I think when he comes back, he's going to be good, although big men like that with ACLs, it's definitely a bit of a wild card. I think what Ed O'Neill is really saying is more about the bookend edge, and that has been something that the Lions really haven't had for Aiden Hutchinson, really, except for that back half of the season with James Houston, his rookie year. So I definitely understand that. And when you look around at a lot of the best edge rushers in the NFL, they consistently have better bookends than what Aiden Hutchinson has had or has on the roster right now. That's one of the reasons why I was so excited. I thought at the absolute worst you were going to get Hutch on one end and Z on the other, and even that wasn't the most ideal to me, but I would kill for that right now. So yeah. That's really where my bone of contention is, from being a Lions fan who think they need a little bit more to be like that Super Bowl favorite type team. But I also am a Hutch fan. I'll admit it. I'm a simp for Aiden Hutchinson, and I don't want to see games where he has like 10 pressures but no sacks and the fan base calls him a bum, because it happened.
It happened.
It happened.
You fought that fight.
Yes.
You did, and it was crazy, dog. Like, guys, Hutch is out there performing, but what up, though, KG? I don't know, man. He's consistently throughout this show and before. This has been a refrain from Ed O'Neill for a couple years.
He's been outspoken, man. Shout out my boy Ed, man. You know you my guy. But I think he's right from the aspect of you don't want Hutch to be just your only, option as somebody that can get to the quarterback. I just think where we get hung up on is, maybe the type of player that we need opposite of Hutch. Do we need a Trey Hendrickson? Do we need a Myles Garrett type of player? That would be nice. I'm not denying that. Once again, I understand both sides. That would be phenomenal if we could do that. But I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a need. It's more of a want. If you can get somebody that can just come in and be productive, much like we saw Marcus Davenport do in the limited time, the very limited time that we saw him, you can get guys like that that can come in.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just for a flash though.
Yeah, for real. But you can get guys like that that can come in and make an impact like this. You just need to be selective in who those guys are, and hopefully you can land somebody like that in the draft. And maybe, like I said, post June 1st, maybe going into camp, a veteran might come available, and you can do something there.
And I will admit that when Hutch and Davenport did play together in a small sample size, I even said on air that I liked how they looked as bookends in the week 1 game, because I think they did a great job. And for the most part, when Hutch was a healthy, he really didn't have anybody else who was getting sacks. Although Aleem, I think he got 1 or 2 in the Cowboys game.
No, bro, Hutch was being selfish, dog.
Yes. And I've got nothing bad to say about Aleem, and I've got nothing really bad to say about Levi Onwuzurike, because I was happy that the Lions re-signed him. It's just that I would like another option as edge rushers at an edge rusher other than Marcus Davenport. And I understand I just said when he played, he was good, at least for that one game. But I saw something that WeezyD313, the ultimate Davenport fan, said in the chat, that Lions fans are basically making judgments because they've only seen him play a couple of games. Well, it's kind of hard to see somebody play more games when they're not playing. As I've said before, this is, I think, the most damning stat when it comes to Marcus Davenport. Last 2 seasons, games played 6, games missed 28.
And the best stability is availability.
No, that's a fact. And maybe, the solution isn't through one singular player. Maybe it's by committee. Maybe it's you need a couple guys that can, get home and get to the quarterback. But I do agree with Ed in the sense that, Hutch went down in week 5, week 6?
Yeah.
He was the leading sack getter for the team the entire regular season. That's a problem. Like, even if it's not through one guy, you need to have multiple guys to where, if Hutch were to go down again, he's not leading the sack numbers into week 17 of the NFL season. Like, that's kind of damning when you think about it. It is.
Well, let me just the ultimate reason why we have this discussion is the Lions in terms of the Super Bowl. And we all know that Aiden Hutchinson is a budding superstar. And if he puts it together like he was doing last year, he's going to be universally considered, I think, the best defensive player in the game. Even if he's 75% of what he was last year, he's going to be an all-pro caliber player. But you look at the history, the recent history when it comes to Super Bowl winning teams, they've got multiple guys who can get to the quarterback. You look at last year, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and as a unit, the Eagles had 16 sacks in 4 playoff games. Those are multiple guys who can play, including Sweat, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, and Jalen Carter, who all had multiple sacks in the playoffs. Even the Kansas City Chiefs, even those Chiefs teams in 2023, George Karlaftis and Chris Jones both had 10 or more sacks, and you also had Charles Omenihu and Mike Dana. The year before with the Chiefs, it was Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, and Frank Clark. Frank Clark, we all know, was notoriously a really, really good playoff pass rusher, has some of the most playoff sacks in history. The 2021 Rams, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, we all know about that. 2020 Bucks, JPP, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh. In the 2019 Chiefs, you can even go back to Emmanuel Ogbah and Alex Okafor. And I understand, in addition to a Chris Jones and a Frank Clark, by the way, and all of those teams really showed out in terms of pass rushing in the playoffs. The reason that I bring that up is because there's a common theme, at least with the last 6 Super Bowl winners. I understand that Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback for 3 of them, and he's one of the greatest ever. I get that that's a big reason as well, but I just want multiple guys who can get to the quarterback. And I think personally, not to harp on Big Z again, that he would have feasted as a bookend from Hutch. Absolutely feasted. His job would have been about as easy as it was when he played in Cleveland with Myles Garrett.
Goodness gracious, man. That was definitely the outlook. And I know we want to talk some Tigers today, but just real quickly, Dante 151, because we are looking forward to the draft, if you could just read his super chat one more time, because that is a player that we actually profiled here on the network as well. Shout out to KG and Flannel Sam for their NFL draft prospect breakdowns. It's been informative, and it's performing well on the network as well. Yeah. But what did Dante151 have to say again?
Oh, yeah, I got you. He said Joel Klatt released his mock draft, and he had the Lions drafting James Pierce Jr., and if that happens, then I would be extremely happy no matter what.
I wonder if he had him like at 28 or did he move up at all? But yeah, if you can get James Pierce Jr. at your draft position without having to move up, that's A+ home run move.
Yeah, I would be cool with James Pierce. I would probably zip my lips a little bit that day. Although I'd like to
tell y'all,
I would like them to add like a Moneyball
and make a whole difference.
A Moneyball player in free agency and James Pierce Jr. But at the end of the day, I like James Pierce Jr.'s upside a lot, and if he falls to 28, that could be you could be getting a player with the talent of like a Trayvon Walker or a Kayvon Thibodeau at 28, and that would be huge.
So, goodness gracious, that's where it's going to be interesting because, they have, I believe, the capital and the assets to trade up and make something happen. But yeah, I know that Brad Holmes is also, he's done both. He's been able to identify guys he wants to trade up for, and it's worked out. He's also, identified and stayed put, and it's also worked out. With the D lineman, that's the one where it's going to be interesting to see if he's drafting higher. It's going to be a higher pick. I do believe that he's going to be able to get somebody that's going to make an impact this season. It's just a matter of what degree to how much that player is going to actually step in and be that guy.
I was told that this is a very defensive-heavy draft. So if that's the case, I can't necessarily knock Brad for wanting to just take it to the draft, and maybe you get one or two guys that can come in and you got them for 4+ years at a cheaper price. I can't be mad at that.
Can't be mad. And Alec G, though, he has the solution. He says just sign 5 Davenports, and we can play them 3 games at a time.
That sound like a plan.
Versatility and depth. Huh?
Yeah.
I hope that at the end of the season you can put a clown mask on me when Marcus Davenport does play 14+ games and has at least 5 sacks and a bunch of pressures. WeezyD313, I go at you in the chat a lot, but I hope that you're right on Marcus Davenport because it would be good for the team. I would just say it would be based on a lot of what you project in him, not actually what we've seen, at least in the last 3 years.
Weezy, you tripping, though. What's the name ain't better than Big Z, though. He said Pascal is better than Z.
Based on what?
Yeah,
based on.
And I like Josh Pascal.
That's the thing. And nobody capes for mid players but more than WeezyD313. Zadarius Smith had 4 sacks in 8 games last year. Josh Pascal has had 5 in 35 career games. And he's had a lot of time for what you're saying playing opposite Aiden Hutchinson. There was an entire 2023 season when Aiden Hutchinson played every single game. I bet Josh Pascal got 8 sacks, right? Oh, he didn't. What? What? But he's better than Zadarius. I'm sorry. It can't compute in this brain of mine.
But Flannel, he sets the edge.
He doesn't even get that much pressure, dude. Like he's more of a run stopper, which is fine. But
Denver Blair says, Flannel Sam, we are all wearing that mask if Davenport does that.
Thank you, Denver Blair. I appreciate that so much because I feel like I have an ally.
All right, help my man's out. He needs some help.
The amount of Marcus Davenport stands that have come out of the woodwork and I get it when a Brad Holmes signs a guy, you want to look at it positively, and I do as well. But to act like it's an unquestioned move is what drove me crazy, but we've been over that.
And Davenport, you'd be happy, you said, with 5 sacks, right? How many sacks did Zadarius Smith have last year?
We had 4 in 8 games.
And over the course of the season?
9.
There you go.
9.
Yep. There you go. That's what I'm just like, what are we? All right, hey. You know what, Brad Holmes, obviously, despite anything that we feel, it's always trust in Brad and let Brad cook. This is his time of year, man. He's done some special things, which is why we actually have the successful Detroit Lions team that we currently do, man.
Yeah. If people tell you they are, you got to believe them.
Hey.
Brad done told y'all, hey, I don't care about none of that shit y'all think about, man. I'm doing it my way. So
is it a jersey bet for Davenport?
What's
you
up?
said what?
I was going to say, is it a jersey bet for Davenport if he plays
God.
all these games?
I'm going to have like 4 jersey bets.
That would be the season he played 15 games.
I know, right?
Flannel, if you can make it happen, because you actually do a jersey bet.
You know what? Since I made the 1,000 yards happen with a jersey bet,
See?
I'm kidding. Marcus Davenport, 8 sacks. I buy a jersey. 8. I'm going 8.
If it happens, then you do understand you are responsible for J-Mo and for Davenport.
Hey,
and keep doing this too.
I'll do 8 sacks. I'll get a jersey.
Hey, we're gonna have to get the
his
counters.
career high is 9, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say that's kind of a high number for him, but hey,
I'm talking about a jersey, man.
Yeah,
that's
no,
a lot of money.
He's
Jameson Williams one
about a
came out of my
jersey,
pocket.
man.
Fair enough.
Like 10. Like,
you
like double digits. Like,
I just think, Chase,
No,
that there's
8
a
is reasonable.
snowball's chance in hell that happens.
Yeah, 8 is reasonable because he might not even get close to that. So
Yeah, Flannel's trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
Trying to sweat a little bit. What, man? I can't wait, man. End of the season, he already got 13 games played. He has just one more sack to go in the last game of the season.
Is it going to be like with a J-Mo where
where
we thought he was going to blow the 1,000 yards out of the water, but there were actually times where it's like, oh my God, he might not get it.
Yeah.
And he got 1,001. Is that what it's going to be?
got it in the last game.
In overtime of the 17th game, Marcus Davenport gets his 8th sack, which there's question, is it a half sack or a full sack, and then they make it full?
It's going to be that, because at J-Mo one, I remember, they were like, he didn't even need to be in the game.
Yeah.
But they were forcing him
They
the
were
ball.
forcing him.
And he got the first down, but then it was like a flag on the offense. I was like, no! I was so sad, like, Flannel's going to find a way.
Denver Blair, LMAO, Sam made AJ be a better manager, made J-Mo get 1,000 yards, and now Davenport 8 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, the Flannel effect.
It's the Flannel
I
way.
wish more than anything that I had the ability to take credit for that like Neil Rule does, but I just can't. I just can't. I can't. But at the end of the day, though,
You was tripping on AJ.
hey, that's fine.
crashing out.
And history has proven you correct, KG.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know what? I want to hear Tigers talk. I see KG got the Tigers hat on.
Yeah.
I know Flannel Sam is ready because the conversation is very nuanced. If you're coming into the season with just dealing with some players who don't look right in spring training, cool. But there are also some injuries, too, to some important players. But we got some other players percolating who we thought we would never hear from again in Spencer Torkelson and Javi Baez.
Hey, Torque Bomb.
Well, at Lady Jane's, we take the trot of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, a hot leather neck shave.
Nice and wet.
Hey, it's my favorite, man. And a hot towel treatment. You guys already know. You got to ask. Don't suggest where the placement goes. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircut, man. It is wicked awesome. And attention, sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy. That's today. Every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice.
And secret sauce.
Huh?
And secret sauce.
The secret sauce. The secret sauce, right? I'm going to have to sit down and figure out what that secret sauce is.
Nah, I'm good.
I need a secret sauce.
I'm straight.
Yeah.
Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday. Look, it works for LeBron James.
I guess.
Yeah.
It depends on what the sauce is.
Join Dr.
Heard
Pierce.
a word from Meek Mills, too.
Chill on me, bro. I stand with me, man.
Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D.
You waddle with me?
Look, Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. I don't know where I am at the read, but I know this. You can learn more information by visiting MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they still have 22 locations in the state of Michigan. And fans can visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Denver Blair, you wild, bro.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. What did Denver Blair say, man?
Don't read it out loud.
Oh, no. Chat family is definitely on one today. Word to our brother Eduardo O'Neal. And you know what, man? These Detroit Tigers coming off of an impressive playoff appearance. They didn't just sneak in and just have a cute season and say, you know what, progress, which I believe a lot of us would have accepted. But this team pushed the Cleveland Guardians to 7 games and just fell short. And a lot of people have high hopes for this Detroit Tigers team this year, including you, Flannel Sam, who believe this is going to be a team that can compete in AL Central, but at the time, they were a lot more healthy.
Yeah, and
a little more.
Yes, I would say a lot more healthy, unfortunately, and a lot more. And Jace Jung was actually viable. I do think that the Tigers pitching staff is going to be elite. I don't think that's going to be anything that's going to be in question the whole year, barring injury, of course. We all know what they've added to their starting rotation with getting Jack Flaherty back and their bullpen with Tommy Kahnle, in addition to guys that were already there, like the Tarek Skubals of the world, the Tyler Holtons, Will Vest, etc., etc., etc. I think their pitching staff will be just fine. However, now that I know that Matt Vierling and Parker Meadows both won't be there for opening day, that is going to be huge. And what furthered my disappointment was Jace Jung got sent down to AAA because of his hitting. That's not a good sign for Jace Jung, for himself or for this team, because I personally, maybe I'm higher on him than some. I like what I saw last year at the back half of the regular season. I thought he had one of the best strike zone disciplines on the team, period. His on-base percentage was .362, albeit in a short sample size, although he was kind of phased out of the lineup in the playoffs. Matt Vierling was so critical for them last year. He's been so critical of them for the last couple of years. He was one of the most available players in terms of home runs, RBIs, doubles, on-base percentage, OPS. He's a guy that won't wow you with numbers, but when it came to this Tigers team, was near the top out of all of those categories, and he was number 1 on this team in at-bats, which is huge considering a lot of our guys last year were unavailable either to injury or to poor play and getting sent down to the minors. And we all know what Parker Meadows gave in his sample size at the end of the year. He was like an 850 OPS guy from the time that he got brought up to the time that he just till the end of the season, and he made some big plays in the playoffs as well. So having those guys out is going to be a tall task. I believe in Riley Green. I think he's going to take a step. I believe in Kerry Carpenter when he's on the field. I believe that Gleyber Torres will end up being a better signing than some people give it credit for. But the Vierling and Parker Meadows injuries, along with Jace Jung not being viable at third base, at least to start the year, that changes things a little bit for me. And when it comes to their expectations of still winning the Central, it depends on how severe the injuries were and just how much can this pitching staff carry them if the injuries to Vierling or Meadows are something that really persists into the season.
Well, the pitching staff did carry them last year to start the season when they couldn't hit anything, when they could barely manufacture anything. We were talking about, this team was going to have to rely on kind of manufactured timely hits, and that kind of is what got them by, being able to score 1 or 2 runs because the pitching staff was just playing lights out. And you know what, man, it's interesting here, just kind of looking at the makeup of this team. And I know that, there's a lot of Jake Rogers fans out there, and you got some
Walrus.
godsons. He got some godsons on this team, but Jake Rogers, I liken more to one of his stepsons. But KG, man, this Tigers team, this is a team you've seen for years up close and personal as well.
Yeah.
Working in the stadium. You've been working on this Tigers content as well with Nick from the Heavyweight. Shout out to you guys, man. I can't wait.
Wins.
Stay tapped in, because not only are we going to have the social content, but KG's going to do something special to be able to bring it as a segment as well to the Woodward Sports Main. But you're tapped in as well with the Detroit Tigers, and goodness gracious, I'm hoping more of what Flannel Sam is saying comes true, that this team's pitching is so good that they can carry them while they still figure some things out. And shout out Chris Fetter and what I do believe he'll do with this pitching staff. But these injuries, man, and some of the players we believed we could count on. I wonder with the emergence of a Spencer Torkelson, emergences of Javi Baez doing some stuff. I see your face, man. I wonder if that helps to contribute to saying, you know what, maybe we can let a guy like Jace Jung go and focus more on development and getting the swing right. But how you feeling, man, with opening day just a couple weeks away?
Yeah, it's crazy. The season is already upon us. And a big shout out to Nick, Tailgate Wins, man. We working on some really nice Tigers content, man. I'm going to try to get it on the show as well. And I'm glad I can speak freely about the Tigers here, because whenever I'm on Big D Energy, I just have to troll Neil with Torque. So it's nice to be able to just come in here and be honest. But the injuries have put you in a position now to where you're relying on a lot of guys to step up or take that next step. I'm looking at guys like Riley Green, who Sam is, he will fight to the death for some Riley Green. Right, and don't get me wrong, he is very, very good, but is he a 1A on this team? I think is a question that is still left to be answered. Could he be? Possibly, but he would have to take a big step up in terms of numbers and maybe even some of his power numbers. So you need a big year out of him. Kerry Carpenter, we all know he can mash a baseball, and it's nice to have him for right-handed pitching. But what can he do against left-handed pitching? He's kind of, struggling in that department. I know they said that they plan on playing him against lefties a little bit more this year, but he is somebody that has also been injury-riddled throughout his career. So that is somebody that you're relying on to take another step up and be a leader for the Tigers. Colt Keith at first. How is that going to look? Gleyber Torres coming in, a career, around 250 hitter. Can he come in here and can he contribute to this Tigers team and just help with what has been the problem with the Tigers, even going back to last year, which is a lack of offense? The pitching has always been fine with this team. That has been the strength of this team. The pitching will carry them, but I will continue to say this. You got the best pitching in the world. If you're not putting the runs with it, then what does it all mean? What does it account for? You're going to lose a lot of ball games that way. Hopefully they can get into a rhythm early, much like they did last year, because like you said, if they hadn't, it would have been real tough sledding for the Tigers getting in the playoffs. Thankfully that fast start did help them in the long run, but you just hope that they can come out and they can show that they can, improve on what they did last year, even in the face of injury, because Jace Jung, he might be done at this point. You got Kevin McGonigal in the system. He's had every opportunity to win that third base job. He can't do it. I have questions about Trey Sweeney. They seem to want to play Ryan Kryler. You got Javi at third now. Really don't know how that's going to look. There's a lot of questions around this team right now, and if you had to just went and spent a little bit of money, not necessarily to Alex Bregman, but if you could have just brought some more pieces that could have contributed in here, then maybe this looks a little better. But you put all your eggs in one basket. He said no. Now you're in a position to where your infield may be even worse than last year. And the question still remains about the offense. Did you get better?
And we know that last year, some parts of the season that discombobulated them was the infield defense was terrible. There were times when they were booting it around and the errors started to creep up, and it was a stretch of the season where we were like, get this together.
Hey, defense don't matter, huh, Sam?
I'll tell you what, though. This is where
preaching that shit last year. I'm like,
This is where I slightly disagree, though. I don't think that errors were ever the number one reason that the Tigers weren't playing well. I think it was because you had Parker Meadows get sent to the minors. You had Spencer Torkelson be an absolute nobody. I think that Kerry Carpenter played, I think at the end of the season, it was a little bit more than half the year. He had an elongated stretch when he was out.
Yeah.
I think if all of those guys are more healthy or more good in the major league level from the beginning of the season on, that it wouldn't have had to take a miracle run at the end. They would have just been comfortably in the playoffs.
One of the things that I am confident on is the pitching getting off to a hot start, and that's because it seems like pitching always starts faster than hitting to start the season, especially with some of the teams that are playing in more cold weather to start off the season. And I do believe that bodes better for the Detroit Tigers, and maybe they know that too. Chris Fetter and his pitching staff, they're going to be lights out. With all indications, and you knock on wood to make sure that can continue to be a strength, because there was times where to start the season we were like, have we seen like this type of pitching here before? And then from the totality, even the bullpen was coming in and was just absolute lights out, to the point that even if the starters had an off night, the bullpen and long relief was able to get the job done and still win low-scoring games.
Yeah, and they arguably got better. You just really need them to stay healthy, because you can't be in a situation to where you were last year with one starting pitcher and you're playing a lot of openers. You don't want to have to do that. But that's going to be where it falls for this team, man. But I don't know if they can compete for the Central. I think they're a wild card team for sure if things go according to plan. But on the higher side, being very optimistic, I think they can win 90 games.
90 games.
If that's optimistic.
And that's up from our totals from last year that we had.
Yeah, because you'll get Parker Meadows and Matt Vierling back at some point. We just don't know when.
That's what we're hoping. If I'm telling you, like, we're all going to continue to say, if the pitching does what we believe it can do, they have an opportunity to start hot last year. And the hope is that when those guys are healthy, when a team is hitting its stride, that there is not too much of a gap in between if the pitching cools off as bats start to warm up a little bit. But you look at the how this team performed in like post-trade deadline. And I know that a lot of people, they have the notion that momentum does not carry over from season to season, but I do wonder how much of this team is more post-trade deadline team to start the season versus just before it. And if they are more of that post-trade deadline team, that's where the 90 wins should be something that is clearly within sight, as well as something that Flannel Sam predicted or said that he believes in if the team is healthy, being able to compete in that AL Central for the title.
I think that if Vierling and Meadows, it's something that only lasts the beginning of the year, like they're only out maybe less than 20 games is the benchmark. I still think that they win the Central. I would still predict it. But if they're out for more than that, I don't necessarily know if I would feel the same way. And just for the record, because I got to get this in. People still asleep on Riley Green. We're still asleep on what he did last year. People acting like he has to be like the fourth best player on a championship team. Just remember to all you in the chat, all of you in this room. Last season, the Tigers were an 86-win team, and when you look at their team leaders, all you see when it comes to batting average, home runs, RBI, on-base precision, hits, just go to their ESPN. Green, 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 green. All comes up green.
Yeah, but we're looking at a guy that is, sub 280 batting average.
Who gives a shit if he doesn't have a 280 batting average?
I'm just saying,
Jesus
can
Christ.
he be the number one? I'm not hating on him, Sam. I'm really not. Like, he's a very, very good player, and I do look forward to him taking a step. It's just, can he, if this is how your team is constructed and he's your best player, how far can they really go offensively?
Well,
I think that's a fair question.
If they're healthy, they'll be just fine. Okay. I promise you, they will be just fine.
Fair enough. He had to beat the injury allegations, and he did that. So, like I said, I do look forward to him, maybe taking that next step. But if we need, not just, guys that can hit the baseball, but we can use some power on this team. Like, one or two power guys would absolutely change the dynamic of this offense. I just wonder where that power is going to come from, because spring is cool, but torque and relying on torque and Javi in the regular season, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not.
That's 100% fair.
Man, and then you got to ask yourself, how much are they going to be putting, how much pressure is going to be on this pitching staff? Because as lights out as they were as a staff, when you get to the playoffs, you need Tarek Skubal to not be gassed. You just do. And that's one thing where I'm just like, man, I'm hoping that they are able to find a way to make sure that this pitching staff, even though we know that there's going to be a high usage, high responsibility, high value on them winning and being hot early in the season, that there is some type of balance that can come to this team as they get more and more healthy, to make sure that, Tarek Skubal isn't having to be, the everything guy that we saw him be from a pitching standpoint last year. And that's why I do believe he is worth the money, though, because if you can get him to the playoffs, you have a good chance to win every single one of his starts. And he still gave them a good shot in that last game. You could tell he was a little gassed, and that's where I'm hoping we get to the playoffs, we are able to support him better from a hitting standpoint.
Yeah, just got to stay healthy. That's it.
Just got to stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Unfortunately, the Tigers didn't do that as much as you would like last year, but even despite all that, they still made the playoffs. They still won a series. But we would all like more than another year of a playoff disappointment, so that's fair as well.
Man, that is definitely fair. And we got to get to everybody's favorite segment. Obviously, yesterday, the passion of JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons carried us straight on through what's trending. And so I'm looking forward to what we got today. What friends you want us to say what up, though, to JBSmooovv?
Les Stanford and the Bracket Challenge.
Hey,
Ooh.
Les Stanford. Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision AVE-NIR for only $299 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
At it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get in on our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jugga Neurosurgery. If you got the biggest basketball brains, make it known. First place prize is $1,000 in cash money. Second place, you get you a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. And if you come in third, you still get something as well too. 2 club seats to the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories out in Troy. You can register today. Make your selections as well. WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Then once Selection Sunday has already passed now, I'm pretty sure you have in mind who you want to win. Fill out those brackets. Go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now. Register, all powered by the best in the game, Jugga Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports. And please stop asking me, they do not do boobs.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
What up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward, and it's been a day. And you know what? Buddy sounds like lunch, man. Goodness gracious.
Would love that.
That looks amazing. And get that 10%. You know, the sponsors are definitely coming through, and we want to make sure that you guys can benefit as much as you can. I remember the Trap family used to go and check out the Sorokis. They used to visit us out at Hayes and grab that as well. It's just like, you know what? we're always gonna try and look out, man. So shout out to our sponsors, shout out to the chat family as well, and another one, man. It's time to spark a word to Jars.
Word to Jars.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Give me a J. Give me a B. Put it together and what's that spell? JB. Yeah.
Let's rock.
Let's rock. What's going on, chat family? What's up, fellas? I got a couple videos for you today. Forewarning, I don't know if any of these people are okay. Just throwing that out there ahead of time.
Queasy alert.
Just throwing that out there ahead of time. But hopefully you enjoyed your St. Patrick's Day and you didn't get too wild. Unlike these people. A roof collapsed in Pittsburgh while people were celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Holy shit. Already on the roof. Too many fucking people on the roof, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I don't think anybody died, so we can feel bad. Like, we don't have to feel bad about this.
Okay, good. I can flame.
Yeah.
What the fuck were y'all?
You don't have to feel bad. Nobody died.
No one died.
Nobody died. We're good.
Yeah, that's
Man,
tough.
dog.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. Yeah, so St. Patrick's Day didn't start off great for those people.
You don't say.
Interviewing the survivors.
Hey, like
Yeah,
I
man,
said,
saw it right
I
over
don't know if anyone was okay, if anyone was hurt, but Chase says everyone's cool, so
People did go
There you
out.
go.
A couple people went to the hospital, but like, nobody died. Nobody
Somebody's
died.
going to the hospital. A whole fucking roof collapsed. Like that is just because you didn't die don't mean it didn't hurt. So
oh, all right, it hurt a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully that hurt less than this.
oh come
Oh
on.
no, another one of these.
Why do people keep
facing the
playing
wrong
with
way.
the revolving door?
He
Oh!
was facing the wrong
Look
way.
at his foot.
Was it his foot?
You unathletic son of a bitch.
Oh! He has to do a 180 to turn. It's like you can tell he's gonna fuck up because like you should be facing the other direction, bud. Like it's
Bro, you in fucking jeans and Rockports. What did you think was gonna happen, dog?
Look at his stance
Like,
too.
oh,
Look at his stance.
Is he out for season just like that one?
out for career.
Out for
That's
career.
the guy who shows up to training camp and he's just already done, bro. It's like, thank you for showing up, man.
What possesses a certain class of people to want to jump into a moving revolving door?
With a
Like,
bro,
I don't
it's
understand.
metal frames on metal frames. Like I don't. Do people understand this?
No, they
This
don't.
is not Legends of the Hidden Temple.
No!
Not
Do
even
it the
close.
frig.
Not even close.
shout out to Blue Barracudas.
Shut.
I used to love that show. I wanted to be on that show so
Yo,
bad.
shout out to Legends of Hidden
That was
Temples,
so-
man.
that
That
was
was
The
my
orange
shit.
iguanas, the
That was my
silver
story.
monkeys, bro. Like,
I still want to go on that show.
yeah, oh hell yeah.
Man, what? That shit used to be pissing me off at home. Like, bro, it's so easy to just go through the fucking path. Like, I could get through that in 50 seconds.
Open
bro. Like,
sesame.
trying to get through the path and trying to assemble that damn
yeah,
statue.
the
That pissed
people
me off
always
so
got hung
much.
up on the statue, bro. I'm like, this
How?
is the
It's
easiest
three
shit in the world.
pieces.
Bro,
It's
I
three.
get mad at the trivia. I could have breezed through that shit.
Yeah.
It is 3 pieces, everybody. Come on now.
This man is definitely trying out for it. I don't think he's gonna have a good time on that show.
Nope.
No, yeah,
No, he is not.
Who farted? You know what I mean.
Like I said, once again, I don't know if any of these people are okay. Hopefully they are. Once again, shout out to Planet Fitness, because once you go there, all their gym equipment is secure and tightened down.
Yep.
Unlike this.
Oh. No. No.
Oh! No!
Saw it coming, man.
And he's
saw it fucking coming.
using all of his might to do that pull up, and then it just wee. That's man.
God damn.
God.
Like I said,
Part of me
make
thinks
sure
that's
your
that's probably
equipment.
the closest you get to like ripping down the rim.
I
guess.
suppose. I suppose he can say like, "Hey, he's okay.
Right.
He's okay."
He's embarrassed, though.
Yeah, his
Baby,
feelings is
for-
hurt. Did you?
No, but
His back
Chase,
hurt.
Nothing can
His
take away
feelings
the
hurt.
pain.
Chase, you bring up a good point. He could say, "My brute strength is what caused it to
Yeah,
come
I
off." You know,
ripped it off the
ladies,
wall.
ladies, yeah.
Yep, TGT. Got another tough guy.
Another
Damn.
tough guy in training. And once again, I got another tough guy for you as well too. This one hurt me.
Oh God.
Oh,
no!
why, bro? Why?
No! What are you doing?
Why did he slide?
What are you
Why is he
doing?
sliding?
Why
I
did
don't
he slide
understand.
up?
Wreck the bar! from your back.
What were you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
Oh! Right in the kisser.
Your girl's like,
Right at the
baby,
kisser.
I want to have babies.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. Goodness gracious. Why?
What?
Why are you sliding up? I don't understand.
He looked like the type of guy be trying to show off his dick print in the gym, so maybe he deserved it. God damn.
Look at him still wiggling. You see him still like, hey.
It's like, why would you slide up,
I may be hurt, but I'm still in business.
He that motherfucker flirt with every girl in there.
I feel like everybody got an uncle like that, dog.
Yeah, dog.
Oh my god.
Hey, you come here often? That's probably his line.
Right.
Are you a regular?
If you need a trainer,
Yeah,
I train
yeah.
on the side.
Trade on the side.
Oh, yeah, I do some
Can you
training.
give me some tips?
My boy got a pocket full of blue chew. Talk about I train on the side. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm
Oh my
seeing
God.
some irregularities with your form there.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
And then, of course, they're in their headphones, like, what?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Would rather you just drop dead on the spot than talk to you.
No, like for real.
It is like crazy too, because like he drops on himself and the friend just kind of just grabs a pole. I'm like,
Right.
nobody's rushing. I'm like, oh, get it off. I'm like, my man just dropped the weight bar
It's the Smith machine.
on his cot.
It's the Smith. Like,
Super
you
Bowl
don't need
Cartier.
help
He
with
did
the
the Diddy
fucking
press.
Smith machine. Like,
You
If it slams on your
shouldn't.
midsection,
No, you
baby.
definitely shouldn't.
like
Yeah.
Super Bowl card.
Super Bowl Cartier. Yeah.
I could have spotted better.
No, that's a fact. Phil, it's a judgment-free zone where you're in the gym. We're outside of the gym. We can talk about shit
Yeah,
as
we
we like.
judging all
Bro,
day.
did you see?
Big judgment.
Did anybody see? Finish what's trending first.
I was gonna say I only have one more thing for what's trending because this happened over the weekend and apparently got a lot of people talking. Just know I'll probably be out there as well too. But the LA Sparks are holding male practice player tryouts next month.
Hey,
oh yeah, I saw Cameron Brink talking about this.
male practice players?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're
Wow.
trying to get male players to practice against them.
That'll make them
I mean, it's pretty common. They
tougher
do
team,
this.
yeah.
They do it in college. Like, there's guys who
Yeah.
practice with like the CMU women's basketball team and stuff. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
actually didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, it's more of like a size thing. Like, there's not like people who can mimic the like the size and stature of a college basketball athlete who's not already playing college basketball.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No,
Shout
we would
out
do
to the LA
that in college, and it was this girl. Her name was Jada. I won't say the last name, but she was a dog, man. And there would be people who think like, yeah, I can defend her. Obviously, physically, there was a difference, but in terms of skill, you leave her open. You try and even shade the face on threes, and it's butter. And the handles, vicious. Some of the guys that weren't on the team who just intramurals type guys and all that, thinking they can defend her. One of the guys was a loudmouth. Got dropped in front of everybody.
I mean,
Got dropped and hit the shot and stayed. And it was crazy because after that, she was like, I'm done. She was like, I'm done. Somebody get my spot, and just walked off the court.
I mean, the girls, like, they have to work on skill and fundamentals and focus on, like, that craft a lot more because, like, I mean, just because, like, some of the males are just more athletically
more
gifted
physical,
and they're able to
yeah.
just kind of, like, coast off that athleticism a little bit more. So, not that it's a bad thing. It's just differences between men and women.
Kool-Aid, when you said Jada, I thought you meant Jada Thorpe. And if you know, you know. It's just, you want a little homework assignment, go and Instagram Jada Thorpe.
Oh boy.
She can hoop too now. She can hoop too.
Hey, just know I'm gonna be out here in
out
LA
to
next
Hoops
month
from
for
Detroit.
this.
Oh,
I'll
big
let
shout out
Kelsey
to
Plum and Cameron Brink back me down in the paint. But anyway, that's it for what's trending.
Yeah, oh yeah, we already know how you get down.
bro, you might have to tee up Tracy Morgan yesterday, bro, because I swear
that
he was
was
watching
bad.
the Pelicans game yesterday
Yeah.
on the sidelines. That was wild, man. I like him as a comedian.
Yeah.
Keep yourself well as you get older, brother. Definitely, but it's not a show.
Yeah, unless there's any mailbags, but hey, yeah, it's a show.
I see Jesse over there, man.
Uh-oh.
Might be a show.
Hey, yeah, we might.
He on the phone too, and you know what? We'll answer a couple. I see a couple here
I see you,
right
men,
now.
man.
Yeah,
If
it
you
definitely.
know,
Yo,
Charles McClain, Feldman Mailbag. Did we read Feldman at the beginning of the segment?
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
beginning
we
of the
did.
show too. So shout out to Feldman. He says all analysts say Tigers' infield defense will be better this year, but their weakness is outfield defense.
Shit.
Agree or disagree?
Probably disagree.
Yeah, what? Our outfielders are fine. Like, what the? That's crazy. Who wrote that?
Well, a healthy Parker
Charles,
Meadows is maybe the best center fielder in baseball
Yeah.
in terms of defense.
Dante151 hashtag Feldman Mailbag. Everyone, did you happen to see what happened at the Knicks Heat game? Because oh boy, do not look it up. It's a not a pretty sight. Also, Trey Murphy III is done for the season. He was diagnosed with a torn labrum and a partial tear of the rotator cuff in his right shoulder. I like Trey Murphy. That's a player that I was like, man, can the Pistons get him, especially with Trajan Langdon's?
They need to change their team name to the New Orleans injured list because they always just produce injuries at a very high rate. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I see Ed O'Neill too. Feldman Mailbag. If Davenport gets 8 sacks, but 2 of them come from playoffs, does that count?
Nope. Got to be regular season. But I hope he gets some in the playoffs. Remember, jersey coming out of my own pocket. Those are high stakes.
Let's rock, man. Let's get that chest pass going. It's been a show. Thank you guys, chat family, for supporting the WUW Crew. The engagement has been awesome today as well. I know that we talked about a couple things that I've seen pretty divisive amongst Detroit sports fans. That's the assessment of Brad Holmes right now in this pass rush, as well as people's assessment on the Detroit Tigers. And it's been cool to see in the chat people on both ends of the argument be able to, bring as much perspective to the table, and it's allowed us to have a really, really good conversation about it all. So chat family, if you didn't get the opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button and make sure you stay tapped in with all of the rest of the shows here on Woodward Sports. And shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and that dude Justin. Cavassier Chase GPT in the building. What up, though, bro?
Hey, what up, though? Hope you guys have a good one. I want to say a quick shout out. Happy birthday to one of my best buddies. Grew up with him, my guy Nate. Hope you have a good one, man. He's celebrating 27 today.
Shout out.
Yeah, I hope you have a good one, man. Like I said, one of my best buddies. A lot of memories with the guy. And hopefully seeing you this weekend, man. So hope you have a good one. Happy birthday, my guy.
Hey, shout out. We got this elite booth in the sound booth. We got Detroit's #1 draft pick. That is KG, a.k.a. Black Hollywood. What
hey,
up?
Y'all know what it is, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us today, man. So shout out to my team. Love y'all. Let's keep it rolling.
Definitely. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JBSmooovv on a Tuesday. A victory one. And the Teddy booth, man. What up, dog?
Yeah, what's going on? Hey, shout out to everyone tapping in once again. Another amazing show. And KG, I'm over here checking out one Miss Jada Thorpe. And Lord,
yeah,
she can back me down in the paint too.
Just man, saying. What?
Just saying.
She get buckets.
Oh man, you know what?
I'll let her drop 60 on me. I don't care.
You're welcome.
Y'all saw that the T-Ties hat got removed, right?
Yeah.
Did anybody see? Was it the Astros hat?
No.
The H covers up some important letters, and it looks like a S-H-O.
Assholes.
Yeah, they pulled the hat, JB. People are buying it already for hundreds of dollars.
If they pulled that hat, they gotta pull their jerseys too, the Texas jerseys, because it says the same thing across the front.
Oh my gosh, dog!
Yep.
What the
T-Tos,
heck?
yeah.
What the heck? That's wild, man. But we get the vet of the squad up here, the Veteran Network, Flannel Sam, man. Woodward Wings. Red Wings correspondent and All Sports Store. What up, though?
Hey, speaking of the Wings, they got a big matchup tonight at Washington to play the Capitals. It's going to be tough, but these teams in the East, for how formidable it's been, they're letting the Red Wings hang around, even though the Wings haven't been playing that well as of late either. Columbus has sputtered. Boston, the Canadians, Rangers, none of them have really been able to pull away. So playoffs are still very much alive. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But if the Red Wings can get some wins that they're not supposed to get, that they're going to be underdogs in, we might be having a different conversation.
Hey, man, let's
love
rock.
you too, Phil.
I see you in the chat, Phil.
Shout out, Phil.
Hey, you know what? It's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. It's been a great show, and it's been because the chat family has been on one as well. The dogs brought it today, man. KG and Flannel Sam, the ball knowers. It was a good conversation. The Brad Holmes segments, man. It was a really, really good conversation, and ultimately, everybody still believes in what this team is capable of. But chat family, have a great day. Be blessed, man. It's been Wake Up Woodward.
Like after I saw, the top 15 black wrestlers of all time list.
Yes.
Surprisingly, I don't think this is the worst list in the world. Although we got to talk about some people that was left off.
These names,
Yeah. So who do you think is the biggest snook?
Jay Lethal.
That's another name that should absolutely be in this list.
Go.
Come on, we talking about Black Machismo, bro. He imitated Randy Savage, dog, and it worked. not only that, bro, he had the greatest promo with Ric Flair of all time. The woo off, bro. I fucking love the woo off, bro. The woo off was fucking crazy, bro. But whenever I'm feeling down, I'll throw on the woo off, or I'll throw on Booker T. Oh shit.